So you're saying go to private security industry, the problem that is actually facing that we are discussing now is something that has been happening for years.
For years and years. I remember one day listening to other SABC radio station. There was this Ndade from, let's say, the FM. I think it was Tusom Down, whereby he was talking about the companies from Velcom that didn't pay workers for 4 months. But those workers, they go to work every day for 4 months without salary. So if it happened in Gauteng, it happened in Free State, it happened also other provinces.
As usual, I'm your host, Cindy Sashengyan, and I am joined by my prestigious guest, Udate Umutlatzizeki.
Yes, ma'am.
And as usual, in this program, we unpack the realities of marginalized industries. On the first episode, we had an interview, or we had a discussion and a heart-to-heart talk with the president of the African Security Congress, Comrade Tebogo Mhlobo, in which we unpacked one of the reasons actually faced by most employees in the private security industry, in particularly with the non-payment of the services that they actually render to government, to municipalities, to parastatals, and what the challenge does in particular to the most vulnerable matter in this particular issue. And that is your private security employer. And most of all, the employee. So to unpack this issue, more than anything else, we are joined by Ondate Mutseki.
Yes, ma'am.
And he is here as being in the private security industry for a long time.
Yes, we are.
And he was also affected by the issue that we are going to be discussing.
Yes, ma'am.
And the issue is the non-payment and the effect of the non-payment of private security providers, in particular those that are providing services to government, municipalities and parastatals that are not being paid. But in that sense, I think let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
You are an employee in the private security industry.
Yes.
And you have been working for various companies in the private security industry.
Yes, that's true.
And most of those companies are companies that have not been paid by government for 3 months, 6 months. And how's that has affected you as an employee in the private security industry?
Yeah, you see, on the issue of not being paid, it is very painful. To give you a review for a few years. Well, in the industry, I started, I think it was 2002, by other company, which was at Boxbeck, Leopold Street, by the name of Londale. Well, that company, it was paid in time, but the salary was so little. And in the procedure, you will see, and the service is not right towards we as workers. Even other companies that I was involved few years after that company, this issue of late payment, non-payment, some others, no uniform, for an example, it does not give us that power or that recognition to be a security officer, because sometimes you need to go to work with a mixed uniform. Sometimes if you not get paid for a month or two, you need money for transport. You need money for food. You need money for rental. So it affects you. So where it gives us the problem. It's whereby the company expects you to give a quality service to the client. So the question is, where do we get that power or effort to provide that good quality service, whereas you don't get paid? Well, companies are not the same. Others, they do the best. But others, the owners, they work, they give the service to the employees the way bona bafuna ngakhona. So umuntu angarecognize nokuthi abantu lava. Imagine uzoceda 31 days without payment, or 62 days, which is 2 months. Ungaholi. So uzoyithatha phi power yokusupply a good service to the client.
So when a situation where kuphela 2 months, 2 months passes, I see a month, 2 months, even a month is long.
It's a lot, yes.
It's long.
Yes.
Even like 2 months, 3 months, when you don't get paid, what normally happens? What happens to as an employee if you are confronted with that situation?
You've got no choice. You need to talk to your family. Please help. Sometimes you need to borrow, because the landlord does not accept the situation that you don't have money. At the end of the month, she wants money. Even your stomach does not have a credit, whereby you talk to your stomach with credit, then I'll pay you later. You can't.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
even
true.
your kids.
That's very true. Yeah.
Even your kids does not eat credit. Even nami angidli isikoloto. Kumele ngidle ngimvuke emsebenzini. So I need to consult with my family. Here's the situation. Normal, after 2 months or 3 months, you get paid. Utolokuta we told him the way it's supposed to be. Then my figure is our cash. Then left with no money.
Do you think Oguti, this problem that is actually existing in the private security industry, how many mawubhekile i-affecta abasebenzi abaningi na?
Mangibhekile mina ngathi affecta wonke umsebenzi actually with private security. Because if I can take you back, 2006, kuye kwaba ne-national strike. Kwashona abasebenzi bama-security, whereby it was a leading union bekwi-SATAW. So on the part of affecting, let's make an example. I am your husband. I'm working in this industry. On that strike, when I had to you understand the good thing. Even if mina sengasekho, when you zohlala ngale nxeba until, because ngishone ngisemzabalazweni, ngishone ngikule industry. At the end of the day, akuna na something like a report whereby that leading union ingathi no, let us go and visit those families that they know ukuthi abasebenzi bashona emzabalazweni. Do you understand? So ngaphandle kokushona, it also affect, because immediately ngingatholi i-payment affecta me, affecta na those who belong abazemva kwami, like my family. So I affect mina ngiwa. Yes, it affects us a lot.
Kunama benefits in the private security industry that are supposed to be paid by my employers.
Yes.
All right? Your provident fund.
Yes.
Your medical benefits.
Yes.
As well. And there's also UIF. There's also other provision that has been made.
Yes.
To make sure Uguti, a security officer, at least to tolama benefits. How do you think that part gets affected by not being able to be paid on time? Give me an example in terms of your provident fund. Give me an example in terms of your medical benefit as well, and other benefits as well. How do you think you get affected as umsebenzi?
In a trauma, if I may put it in that way, because most companies, they do deduct UIF. Let's start with UIF. By deduct UIF kahle. When bakuxosha umsebenzi uphela or resign, because some other companies bayangiqosha sometimes, I resign to get opportunity somewhere. Then when you go and claim, but no one awuveli indawo. So imagine those years usebenza, years the payslip, now proof the company was deducting, but I value labor. It affects you. Secondly, is a provident fund. A provident fund, meaning in a case that I need to work on it. Kwi company bengisebenza. Last company, LL. It was deduct ama provident fund. But when they're supposed to give, then there's a lot of stories. No HR agekho. We've got the new HR. Ungazi ukuthi uqala kuphi ugcina kuphi. You understand? That's why it's in a trauma inside, because now counting ukuthi okay, if ever bathatha, let's say 5 rand every month, a year on 5 rand engakhi, second year on 5 rand engakhi. So when relationship yakho nabo iphele, then mama kumele bagayi abasagayi bakutshela itori. How do you affect? Yang affect. So at the end of the day, kuba nama questions umuntu uzibuza wona ukuthi okay, normally sinokuthatha i-problem, see, analyze it as it is and take a decision. So I guess starting this problem, guess study, not problem as such. I guess started this service. Scarcely study, where does it come from? Automatically you will understand what this thing is discussed by the on the national structure of the country. By born ukuthi maybe ingasebenza. Then they implement this thing, hoping ukuthi izosebenza. Ukuthi bayibone kanjani, by implementa kanjani, isisebenza kanjani manje, lapho I don't know. But if ungayithatha from lapho ukuthi okay, bebe nama understanding wabo ukuthi in this way this thing of black empowerment izosebenza. So now the question is isasebenza according to the way they plan, or maybe sinama hiccups, sinama problem. Then if inama problem, how can this problem be solved? Because this thing that we are talking about today, akusinto yanamhlanje, into eminyaka. You understand?
So you're saying go to the private security industry, the problem that is actually facing that we are discussing now is something that has been happening for years.
For years and years. I remember one day listening to other SABC radio station. There was this from, let's say, the FM. I think it was Tusum Down, whereby he was talking about the companies from Velcom that didn't pay workers for 4 months. But those workers, they go to work every day for 4 months without salary. So if it happened in Gauteng, it happened in Free State, it happened also other provinces.
So, you know that you sometimes when you engage with the employers will tell you that most of us are rendering services to government.
Yes.
And we are rendering services to municipalities and parastatals. And you find that it is those consumers of private security industries that determine the price, because in the industry, price akere wa tseba gore how charger tshwantse gore o charge according to regulations akere,
yes,
the guidelines tse beilweng akere.
Yes.
Yaanong you would find a situation ya gore ba re rona ra charger, ha re charger re be re bua le client e re no, instead of me giving you 15,000 as an example, as for security officer, we'll give you 7,000 as an example. Because when now you are an employer, you looking for miracle, and then you take that particular price, and then in turn that same amount it has to pay you. You know, so that has got a rippling effect in terms of you as an employee. And you find, Khori, there's a lot of practices that are happening in the industry with regards to that. What is your view as an employee from a side of an employee about that practice?
No. That one, if I understand your question very clear, it does not affect me as a worker. It's a relationship between the employer and the client. Then they discuss with how much you charge me, how much I'm going to pay you, maybe with a firearm, a guard, maybe with a dog. Then they discuss ukuthi bazobhadalana kanjani. Mina I'm not there. Mina I'm just get the post and apply. Mina ngisebenzela wena. Wena ukuthi who's paying you, who's didn't pay you, angeni down. But because of understanding that the company is rendering service, automatically if the service provider ingabhadalanga, the company ngeke ngibhadala. But what I can tell you, sometimes imali ingangeni, automatically when the feeling yokuthi this company got money, why bangasibhadali, bangasitshela ukuthi service provider ibhadalanga singeni down, then abasebenzi bathi tools down, then within few hours tools down, at least kuzoba ne half engenayo, kube ne statement esithi no, we don't have money, singibhadala yonke, we apologize. At least we understand. Question is, where does that half come from? It means the company got money.
So on that note, so do you think ukuthi even if government sometimes angababhadali kahle, kube na the 3 months period that passes or whatever period that passes, and you find ukuthi sometimes these employers are the ones that are actually using this excuse as well of not being paid on time, or in non-payment ukuthi bangakhona ukuthi babhadala abasebenzi. Am I getting you correct in that fact?
Yes, kunendaba song. Lana, we talk about, let's say, 3-year contract. I'm just making an example. Government or Nospala or whoever clients the case may be, actually, okay, you will able to pay abasebenzi for 3 months or 6 months without me paying. Then if you say uti yes, just because upege a long term ye 3 years or mhlambe ye 6 years. Uthola ukuthi along the way he baby yakhe to make sure ukuthi abasebenzi they get paid. Ukuthi thina imali kuya kuphi, the time we were signing contract or the time as Kasha, we didn't have discussion ye ukuthi I will pay imali kuya somewhere. Ngiyaqasha ngokamsebenzi ngizokubhadala, that's it. So nakhona ubuye unga understand ukuthi kune gaming yana edlalwayo noma kudlalwa ngabantu noma kwenzakalani, ubuye unga understand. Why ngisho kanjalo? I'm coming to issue ye bonus mhlambe, although i question bongakayi pose. Uthola ukuthi you need to get a bonus or leave, for an example. Then uzokutrayisa akutrayise or akunikeza ngama-half afi end up ingaphelelanga. But also we review le lento lo with your understanding. The company got full amount ukuthi nikeza abasebenzi bonus nyakuphelile. Then makumele akunikeze akutrayise or akunikeza ama-half afi. So I also understand ukuthi is that black empowerment bebakhuluma ngayo, or say ukuthi I own the company, I'm going to enrich myself. Yabona, because nakhona mawungabheka i-standard noma equality of living, the owner of the company ubheka i-standard sabasebenzi, kuna big difference, kuna very big difference. And these people boy too bayenza into eyi-one. Because the company, the owner of the company is part of the company. In other words, anything eyenzakalayo la uyazi noma kumele abe nalo ulwazi. But quality of living is apart to each other. At the end of the day ungazubona ukuthi hayi ngathi imbongolo zami lezi yangisebenzela. Because whenever I need them, they're here.
So would you say ukuthi there's a lot of exploitation of workers in the private security industry?
It's more than you think, or it's more than you can say. But yeah, companies are not the same. Kune company ngike ngasebenza kuyo, it was somewhere Albertine, by the name of Chic Security Service. That one, the owner of the company bengafuni singabasebenzi buthola i-uniform. If usebenza ebusuku buthola i-combat, if usebenza emini buthola i-step out. In other words, bekafuna ukuthi nawe mawusemsebenzini you feel ukuthi you are at work. And bengana pressure towards abasebenzi. So these companies, as I said ekuqaleni, the owners, i-treatment yabo ayifani total. The present company that I'm working now, it puts umsebenzi first. Remember, I can't secure noma government property without me being safe. Kunendlela abayenza ngakhona that I won't disclose ukuthi company i-security i-safety yabo towards abasebenzi benza.
Of course, yeah.
But bona bazoqeda unyaka manje. But we can see ukuthi this company it puts abasebenzi eqala. They give us uniform, but now they are preparing to give us the second uniform within a year. We are born ukuthi kune difference between some companies. At the end of the day, we are born ukuthi it's like kuya ngumuntu ukuthi yena uzimisele ukuparticipate kanjani.
No, ngiyakuthola okay. So with the number of ama companies that are in this country, and ukuthi majority are actually rendering services to government and also I had indicated your other parastatals as well. And with this particular problem, Sabasebenzi, and you are saying ukuthi they're not putting the interest of workers first. They are looking at themselves first.
Yes.
But there's this issue that they are not being paid. And I understand from your part, you are saying that Tina Espasebenzi asingeni lutho lapho, simply because we were contracted to actually render a service. But this is happening. Do you think ukuthi at some point ukuthi maybe there need to be more communication between the company and abasebenzi if a company is encountering such problems?
Yes, you're 100% correct. You see on that one, yeah, before I can able to go direct to your answer. I have an NGO with some of my colleagues whereby we do just a community work. Then after the participation of security officer during COVID, then we looked ukuthi no kunama institutions amaningi that bakhe baba na that gathering yokuthi even if singenalutho uNkulunkulu siyabonga, because to pass that iminyaka ye-COVID, it was not easy to everyone. So it was not ukuthi it was not ukuthi sifaka ama-mask or sithobela umthetho. It was the grace of God. Therefore, how about nathi siyenze this program whereby it's a symbol yokuthi at some point security need to communicate with the employer. Now I'm coming to your answer, because even if we can say now i-union sijoin senze everything, at some point uthola ukuthi i-union mayisaqala ngathi yenza kahle, mayiseyijwayela kusho khona vele ukuthi abajwayele abasenzi the way kumele benze ngakhona. Even nekhalo azisa hambi ngendlela kumele zihambe ngakhona. So i-communication yona iyanileka mhlambe nokuthi amongst the company owners or the company directors or whoever that in charge, isengathi i-communication kubo bodwa iyadingeka ukuthi wena une-challenge yani. For an example, wena une-challenge abasebenzi emsebenzini badakile, uma une-challenge abantu abasebenzi aba-absent, then this problem sisolve kanjani, because it seems it's the problem inside the company. We understand. So bona bodwa they need ukuthi bake bahlale phansi bake badiscuss nje ukuthi for us to grow, ngoba nabo as companies anishobafuna ukukhula nabo for them to grow yini into kumele bayenze when how to put your workers safe before the workers can make it secure to the whole premises bona kuqala ba safe now if abakho ba safe yes then anginayo that ideology ukuthi abasebenzi babe safe then we discuss then we share ideas uyabona ngoba kubhlungu nakubasebenzi uthola ukuthi it seems ukuthi in company iniphatha kahle in providela everything for an example manje kusewinter uthola ukuthi i-uniform yakho let's say black and white but ufaka ijacket eli-purple ufaka ijacket eli-maroon it shows ukuthi kusebusika manje kuyabanda you need to wear into warm ayikafiki and enye into kule question yakho ye-communication yes it also needed kunamakhampani othola ukuthi even if umsebenzi ushonile abanandawo
Tell me more about that.
Umsebenzi ushonile amakhampani abanandawo itsala ushonile emsebenzini or ushone esendlini but the fact ukuthi we lose our member amanye amakhampani abanandawo nina ningabasebenzi nizobona ukuthi niphuma kanjani this is your own baby to see it some other companies okay bangakhipha imoto even mhlambe lo muntu from other province you understand and mawusoyibheka lento le ngokwe business this person or this member or lo msebenzi is part and parcel of the company that company ngeke ikwazi ukuma without this person because kune tendency isengathi we as workers we need job but ubani othi umsebenzi wona umfuni mina you need me I need you siyafunana but when because we've got power you behave as if wena ngifuni mina ngifuna yimi ngifuna wena yes we've got power but uyangifuna nami mina I don't have power but uyangidinga.
Do you think ukuthi umsebenzi in the private security industry ubhekela phansi? Babhekela phansi?
Yeah, uyabona that one kunala ikhe yangithinta khona. Okay, to answer your question, yes ubhekela phansi ngezinto eziningi. Low salary low indlela yokusebenza nje yonke into yakhe ibukela phansi nanga service ayitholayo from the employer when amakhampani awafani. The reason why ngisho kanjalo, I'll make an example. The strike, I think it was last year. Sasethele Mokgorane Hospital, if you remember. Bekune strike sabo nurse. Ne? The nabo nurse they go outside the hospital, bas tule benzeni. Therefore, kwanile ukuthi bizwa amaphoyisa, bizwa amasoja, bizwe nethu. All right. I was not there, I was looking at a TV in that. So kwenzakala ukuthi the one also studio abuze the reporter on the ground ukuthi give us a report ukuthi kwenzakalani. That lady, he started with the security he mentioned the SAP, I mentioned Sandaf, I mentioned Metro, then you will say we are ivala. Then questioning yangazibuza ngiyi-one ukuthi how can the SABC reporter can report only 3 different safety and security kodwa kunalo number 4 which is a security officer osebenza khona mangithi ngiyayibheka lento le security asebenza esibhedlela is the first one to be account ukuthi kunama security bese abize le 3
and they are the first respondents by the way. Yeah,
i-first respondent ngisakuthola basebenza khona because laba bafikela kubo how is the situation bese laba bachazela but when the SABC reporter must say reporter i-reporter laba bayi-3 lo I'm not sure ukuthi mhlawumbe akambonanga or what happened because I was not there but to me it was very funny It was very fun. And umsebenzi osebenza ama-security is very important, and ubaluleke ngendlela ukuthi I can't even define, because wena as a doctor or as a nurse, when umsebenzi wakho lapha ngaphakathi esibhedlela freely, you know ukuthi you are safe okokuqala. 2, uyazi ukuthi nemoto yakho la ikhona i-safe. Maybe ngokubuza kukule issue mhlambe sisasekule esibhedlela. If wena kuthiwa you are a doctor, ungakwazi ukwenza operation kungenama security esibhedlela? You can't. You can't. Even now abo honorable banban, they can't travel alone without a security. But at the end of the day, the system that they design here is separator. Kungaba ne-incident la. Instead ukuthi wena uconsultant ne-security olubona every day, makuqhamuka iphoyisa wena uzogijima uyiphoyiseni. Because the system, it's like it teaches us ukuthi this one is more important than this one. And mind you ukuthi labantu bayenza same job, but ama different category pay. Nokuthi this one has been set aside ukuthi wena private. Lokho akusho ukuthi nomsebenzi wakho private. Job is a job. It's just that the system the way it is running ngakhona it separates us. So to continue answering your question, yes, a security officer ubukela phansi, and then ebukela phansi kanje, into engithandayo ukuthi during COVID it proves ukuthi noma ngakubukela phansi you're so important, because definitely shona nge-COVID ubohleli ungasebenzi, but the security officer need to go out and see ukuthi ugibela imoto kabani, ama-taxi scarce, uyafuneka emsebenzini. Akuthiwa because when you are marginalized you can stay at home, you must go to work. Though it proves ukuthi out of essential workers that we have in the country, you are, regardless of the system ikubeka kuphi, but you are so important.
You spoke about not being given recognition.
Yes.
As security officers.
Yes.
And you spoke about you organizing themselves with other workers.
Yes.
In terms of you being able to actually say, hey, we are here.
Yes.
Recognize us.
Yes.
We play a pivotal role in this country.
Yes.
The economy would not be where it is today
100%.
if it wasn't for our contribution as security officers.
Yes.
So now that you've got this platform,
yes,
that organization, the NPO that you build, what do you want it to do? What are you saying as a worker? What are you saying as somebody that is providing essential service to the public to make them to feel safe? What do you say?
All right, on that program, thank you very much for that question. On that program, we almost finalized it a few weeks ago. We just need our leaders, our institution, our companies, different companies, to come together to support us as an NPO to run this program that will recognize security office, that will thank security officer. Here we are not talking about no pay slip. We are not talking about you failed to pay us a couple of months ago. We don't talk about uniform. We talk about just recognition. Where does this recognition come from? This recognition we realize after the issue of COVID that a security officer is also important. So yini enye singayenza, yini engenziwa? To elaborate on your question, one day ngiyengazwa uMinister Bhekicelo ethi we have at least 500 police officers who died during COVID. Then question is, who's supposed to report, or how many security officers died in the COVID? No one. Yabona ukuthi ngisabuyela lapha ku-system, but to continue to answer you, thina as a NPO sifuna just a program that will recognize ukuthi cha, as a country siyabonga, even mhlambe we can able to get ama institution afana nabo SIRA, to get maybe presidential office or premier's office to table the program, for them to support the program. Because other companies or other institutions, kunama workshop abawenzayo for abasebenzi. Ngapha there is no workshop, there is nothing. You come to work, you go home. You come to work, you go home. And also too, uyayibheka le ndaba yalandelela. Umsebenzi of being a security uyafana nomunye umsebenzi. Awuhlukanga lutho. Kuhola ngenyanga, kufaka uniform, kusebenza certain hours. If it's a leave time, we go to leave. Kwamanye ama-company ke respect abasebenzi. So this program elaborating yayo that talks about education. Remember, as a parent, as umsebenzi, unama problems wakho, unama problems wasemsebenzini, then you need ukuthi ube nendlela ukuthi wa-adjusta kanjani. Ngicela ukwenza le example. Una a young boy under 18 or 20 years who's addicted in Yaope. That affects all of us. Then how will you champion your 12-hour shift? You can't. But if the program is supported, kunama workshop abakhona, kuba education ekhona, then you can able to get help ukuthi hayi man, mawune problem so nayi institution engakusiza. Mawune problem so nayi institution engakusiza. Uyabona? Beside that one, now as a security officer, maku ne implementation education inside the company, it gives you power ukuthi makufuneka mhlambe for an example supervisor inside the company does not go outside and look for a supervisor. We do have inside. Makufuneka mhlambe control room person akayofuna ngaphandle. Already the company has trained abasebenzi bayo. That one is fall under education and training. Kufuneka manager maybe company told side kuphi. Then he has company ukuthi no, we've got abantu abaso discipline. So we well train them.
So in closing, I'm hearing what you've got passion in terms of what you do.
Yes.
As a security officer.
Yes.
And with people that are watching this program, and with you advocating for fairness in terms of how you are being treated as a security officer, and knowing as ngikutshelile in terms of some of the problems that are existing, what would you say to your client ongabhadali a particular company that you are working for as a worker?
To a client,
yeah,
into engayicela noma engayisho iwa ukuthi do your best to make sure ukuthi you pay the company that you hired. Because if you don't pay the company that you hired, the company will fail to pay workers. If workers does not get paid, baba affected ngendlela eningi. And at the end of the day, its service ayibi according the way when we funa ngakho. If ever you're experiencing problems, have a second option ukuthi where I'm getting money if ngayitholi ngizoyithola kuphi, because there is no way yokuthi the property ngabe nama security. There is no way yokuthi this fabric can able to produce a product without security, because banga produce a product maceda baphume nawo, because there is no security, because there is no money to pay the company, because the company didn't have money from the client. So client should do the best ukuthi babhadale ama company ahloniphe abasebenzi.
Yes.
Amakhampani abhatala abasebenzi. At the end of the day, it is not all about money. There's a big relationship between the officers and the company. So respect is more important. To acknowledge this person is very important.
On that note, Datentseki, thank you very much.
Yes.
For joining us in the Forum for Marginalized Industries. We are hoping that you have been heard.
Yes.
We are hoping that the issues that are being faced by abasebenzi are finding an expression. We are thanking you very much for the fact that you took your time to actually sit down and really unpack the realities that are being faced by workers with regards to the non-payment of invoices, the late payment of invoices, and what it really does translate to in terms of bread and butter issues. On that note, Ndatutseki, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.